something else huge. It's about to be replaced, but more about that later. It's the Landcruiser 200 series Sahara. All of the figures for this Sahara are huge. The V8 turbo diesel produces 200 kilowatts, which sounds a little bit modest, but an extraordinary 650 newton meters of torque. That's mountain climbing territory. And it's got lots of clever things. The Toyota badge, that's solid for the radar cruise control. Below that, a camera for the 360-degree view reversing camera, which helps particularly off-road. I'll show you that inside. There's bi LED headlights with an automatic on function as well as automatic high beam. There's 18-inch wheels, these big side steps, and from any door you can lock and unlock the door because the key's in my pocket. The mirrors fold, and that's from the back door as well. Unlock it by just slipping your hand down inside. I've covered Landcruiser pretty thoroughly in other videos, so I'm not going to go into it too deeply. I'm going to go into the special features just for Sahara. There's a rubber button back here, as I said. The one difference that it has above the other ones is that the top part of the tailgate is automatic. Bottom part, of course, is manual. And inside, there's a few special things as well. The seats fold down, but it's a fairly cumbersome affair. This then folds up. There is a video on YouTube that I discovered where you can take a couple of bolts out and remove these seats and leave them at home, and that's certainly what I do. It does leave a couple of holes in the floor, but I think that's preferable to having this massive thing taking up so much space. Also in the back, there's plenty of room for your bags and stuff. And if you've got that back packed for a really long trip and you get a flat tire, don't worry, because the flat tire is underneath the back floor, accessible from under the car. So you don't have to unpack everything. Inside the back, there's plenty of room. You'll notice there's a couple of screens covered up by these covers. And you control them with this fancy control panel with a power outlet, air conditioning controls, and audio controls. The third row space is compromised and it's far too hard to get into. Take those seats out and leave them at home. Treat this as a really large 5-seater. But the inside does look a trifle old-fashioned. As I said, it's been around for a long time and about to be replaced. We're talking about 12 years. And that doesn't mean to say that it's outdated, but some bits of the technology really do need some work. With the power button activated, which is one of the ones down here on the console, you're artificially fooled into thinking that this thing is a sprinter, and it's not. Just as you start to get to the interesting bit, it changes into second and all your acceleration goes away. But you're pulling over 2,700 kilos worth of car, and that's a lot in anyone's language. But the clever thing about Landcruiser generally is not how good it is on road. It is very good on road, but it's got a special kind of suspension called kinetic suspension. And in this top model that comes standard, and it uses accumulators to level out all the bumps, but it also means that on rocks and really bad terrain, the articulation is second to none. It's also got some other party tricks too. I'm always banging on about Toyota's crawl feature, which I think is brilliant. It can get this enormous vehicle out of sand and mud way past its axles, which is, that's just extraordinary. And as part of that crawl feature, it's also got steering assist. And it's aimed to help you in tight corners off-road. You can only use any of these features off-road, but it does mean you've got high and low range. So you put this thing into low range and you can practically climb a brick wall, vertical brick wall. It's just absolutely amazing. The steer feature is kind of unusual, and I haven't actually seen it in any other off-roader, but then I haven't driven a lot of off-roaders off-road. This is one of the very few that I have. And what that does is locks the back wheels, just using the front wheels to pull and steer. You can go around a much tighter bend. In fact, this will virtually turn in its own length. Again, because Landcruiser 200 is so old, this infotainment system, though comprehensive and it does sound excellent, does not have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The dashboard, 2 large instruments and an LCD in between with the obligatory digital speedo, which I like a lot. There's buttons and knobs festooned all over the cabin. Apart from the ones in the back to control the rear entertainment system, there's ones in the front too, and that gives you seat heating and seat cooling. As well, it controls all the off-road functions and many of the other things that you're going to want to do on your day-to-day drive. I've been using this for the last week, mainly as a commuter, but we did go out into the country earlier in the week, and one thing I did find is on tight bends, it does wallow a little bit because this is most at home off-road, but it is also excellent as a road trip vehicle. There's a bit of wood grain and lashings of leather. But the thing that I like particularly about this is that Toyota knows that sooner or later this vehicle is going to go off-road. Sooner or later you're going to get really, really mucky. So there's rubber mats. When the camera is in auto mode, there's a side view comes up so you can see what's happening at the footpath, and that's a top-down 360 degree view. As well, the front camera comes on and I can see what's happening at the front, but press the view button and it changes to looking down from both side mirrors, and you can see what's happening both sides. And you can see as we start to move, bloody hell, the camera turns off. Sorry about that, I was taking a bit of a wide turn. Now on this smooth tarmac at 60, a bit under 60, Landcruiser is very, very smooth. Again, probably because this is such an old car. The steering isn't smart steering. You can see now I've stopped, that's come on again. The steering isn't smart steering, so it doesn't have active lane control. It won't keep you centered in the lane, you've got to do that yourself. It does have blind spot monitoring, but the blind spot monitoring isn't active either. You've just got to take care of the flashing light that's outside your windscreen. One thing I do like though is the sound of this V8 diesel. It has that powerful, almost truck-like sound about it, which I like very much. And that's the other thing too. We've managed about between 10 and 12 litres per 100 kilometres, which is not particularly brilliant, but again, this is a very big car. But there's 138 litres worth of fuel capacity in this thing. Of course, that's also 138 kilos worth of extra weight. But nonetheless, you could do a really long trip with very few fill-ups. That means you get from Brisbane to Sydney or Brisbane to Melbourne in one go with fuel to spare. And as an aside, Landcruiser is number 4 in the top 10 in Australia. Not only that, Australians buy the most Landcruisers of any other market in the world, including Japan. Landcruiser 200 series Sahara, one of the best and most capable SUVs on the road. It's a proper 4-wheel drive and can literally take you anywhere. As always, if you've liked the film, hit like, leave a comment and hit just there to subscribe.